Hey guys, Sunstreaker Water here. Welcome back to another live stream where, yes, as always, covering the hot topics on Transformers Earth Wars. So, yes, this week is no different. So, we'll be talking a bit about the saga schedule this week. I think that's a hot topic on everyone's lips and sort of asking some questions about the schedule itself. We're going to be talking a bit about a bit of a meta shift in Outpost, why that is, and what that may mean for some other content. Talk about it a bit more later, like I said. We're also talking a bit about the primes, what's coming, things like that. And we're also going to take a look at Powerglide, who is getting a buff for his release and event in a week and a half, 2 weeks' time. So we're talking a lot about that. But first off, I just want to apologise for the last 2 weeks. It's been a mixture of reasons. 1 week I was quite ill. You might be able to hear a bit of my voice even now. I might even cough a tiny bit during the stream. It's still not even gone. I know, guys. Honestly, I almost feel a bit embarrassed, like getting these colds and stuff. But it's one of those where if you can't talk, it's a bit hard to stream. If you not talk, can't talk. But if you're coughing constantly, and it's a bit unprofessional. But yeah, so apologies for the first week. And then was that the first week or last week? I get mixed up, honestly. And then something, like I said, cropped up in terms of Family Matters, which I couldn't avoid. So really apologies. But at the minute, it's hard to stream. I'm not gonna lie, because I can see some people in the chat are saying that there's still things you could stream and still things you could do. Now, if they weren't doing anything behind the scenes, and I knew they weren't doing anything, yeah, there's loads of content I could do. There's loads. But the problem being is that they are working on things behind the scenes. But right now, nothing's happening. So the problem I have is I can't do any rankings videos and ratings videos because that's going to change. I want to do a bot rating video, but then they're doing a balance patch. So what's the point of doing a ratings video if they're then going to balance patch it in 3 days' time? Nothing much can do. So I can't really do that. Then I believe they might be looking at combats as well. So I don't really want to do a rating videos about combats. I've already done combiners. We've got only 3 Titans. That's a bit boring. And we've only got 1 Prime, so I can't really rank them either. So it's kind of hard to do any sort of ranking videos. War videos I can do, but to be honest with you, they're so easy, it's ridiculous. It's almost just drop and fast forward almost to a point. So there's no point in doing war videos. So there's not much content in terms of that I can cover right now that's not going to change. They're looking at war effects. They're bringing out a new bit of a balance patch, just some cost change and stuff, which will change. They're bringing out a new 5-star Titan. They're bringing out a new combiner, which will change the rankings. So there's loads of stuff coming out, which is great. But until then, we're kind of stuck. And behind the scenes, it's been very, very quiet. The quietest I've probably ever seen the chats, because I believe Dale's got some personal issues to deal with at home, and I believe it's actually Callum's birthday today. So happy birthday, Callum! I did hit him up about the newsletter. I felt a bit guilty when I actually messaged him. Didn't know it was his birthday, so happy birthday to Callum. But yeah, so that's sort of where we're at, guys. So I think there's going to be a lot of great content to come. I really do think that, at the expense of the saga schedule, which you've probably seen. But it's all to come. Now, Callum has told me that a lot of it will be coming to test soon. But we'll talk about it later, like I said, when we look at the saga schedule. But as you can see, I've kind of had a bit of an upgrade, a bit of a change. So this is not a new mic, but it was sort of hanging down and a bit far away. So I think that's why maybe I was getting feedback. Don't know why I not thought of this sooner. So I've kind of changed the setup a bit. So let me know if it sounds any better or any worse. And if it solves that buzzing that I was getting occasionally. So yeah, let me know if the new mic setup is better or worse, guys. And I can have a look at it again next week. If it's not, if it's great, if it's better, brilliant. It may have solved a bit of an issue, but cool. But let's have a look who we've got in the chat. So obviously a lot of chat today about the saga schedule, but Darklands WQ6FH, where's that come from? But Darklands was first in the chat. Welcome to the stream. We got Blade 1999. Has that changed as well? Has everyone just changed names all of a sudden? Welcome Blade 1999. We've got Stephen Gomez, one of my members, long-serving member as well. Thanks for joining. We've got Jason Roller, we've got Dread81, we've got Ricky Lau, we've got DJ Hart, Mighty Morphin DJ. Good to see you back, buddy. We've got Deshaun, we've got Jeff M9605. Good to see you too. Everybody grind time as always, give me a bit of stick as always. We've got Captain Flint as well in the chat. Good to see you back. We've got Berserk DC. We have got The Absence of Colour. Good to see you as well. Who else have we got? We've got Andrew Stevenson. We've got my buddy CF. Go and check out his channel. We'll mention it later in the newsletter, but go and check out CF's channel, guys. There's a lot of information, sort of snippets on bots and setups and things like that. So go and check it out, guys. We've got who else? We've got Chris Harmon as well. Good to see you. We've got Cuddy Fox as well. We've got Trax80, one of my mods and one of the longest serving members. Thanks for joining as well. We've got who else? We've got Giga8 as well. Welcome to the chat. Who else? Claws Gaming E5G as well. Welcome to the stream. Anyone else? Like I said, plenty of chats. E-Rods, welcome to the stream as well. And is that everyone? I think that's everyone. If I've missed anyone, apologies. So, yeah, Captain Flint's pot look pale. Yeah, I think I've been messing with the settings a bit. I need to change it a bit, maybe. It's a bit dark on one side, but maybe just need to change the lighting a bit, maybe. I don't know. Maybe just need to edit a bit. But the sound is the most important thing, I think. If I'm a bit dark, then hey, I'm a bit pale. I'll take that. For today, anyway. Grind test of the mic is good. Sound. I get it. Sound in a Manchester term means great. That means like good. Okay. Oh, Darklands hasn't changed his name, but he came up with Darklands before. But yeah. Yeah. Don't know. Strange, isn't it? Cool. Right. Let's go into the newsletter. Have a check it out. So, Bar Week Grind That Week Ninny Bong. This weekend's event is called Trick or Transform. So, this weekend's event is an individual totalizer for 10,000 points, but you can get extra XP after that. It's not ending, so that's pretty cool. Very much standard event prizes though. Some combat chips, War for Cybertron core, not a score. 4-star shards, 3-star shards, Troop XP, Spark, Alloy Energon. This is one of those just filler events, just in between, just to keep you busy for people that want to play. But it's not going to get you anything great, really. Yeah. So I'll probably skip this event. So I'll just skip it completely. I won't even bother. There's nothing in there that I really need. I've shown my account before. It's stacked up. So there's nothing that I'm really need for this actually. So I'm not going to bother too much. No battle zones apply. Being 10k, it's not mayhem mode. And then game updates and information. So the main thing is the bundle. So it's going to be a Combiner Gate bundle as there was last week. Remember when Combiner bundles were like few and far between, and now they're coming out every other week, if not every week? It was almost like Black Friday last week. We had loads of bundles and sales and stuff. So if that's what the normal bundles are going to be like right now, I'd love to see what Black Friday is going to be like. But hey, lots to wait and see. But yeah, this time for Skyrain and Galvatronus, not Galvatron crystals, Galvatronus crystals. And the usual, obviously, one purchase per faction in the store, and then one purchase per faction in the game as well. So you can get 2 Autobot ones and 2 Decepticon ones. So I'm going to do some batch bargains. Armada Scavenger and Wheeljack. 2 incredible bots per bundle. I hope they're not putting the bot and the Decepticon together. That makes no sense. But they say it's my Armada Scavenger and Armada Wheeljack, Gears and Quake, Overlord, Demolisher, and Snapdragon. Each crystal guarantees its 5-star bot. What? Each crystal guarantees its 5-star bot. I want to know the price of these. Guaranteed, so guaranteed 5-star overload. That's a bit weird, isn't it? For 3,000 5-star shards. What? I'm lost there. That sounds interesting. If those 5 stars are actually 3,000 5-star shards to buy, that's pretty decent. Overload is in my war team. He's absolutely immense. Amazing. Snapdragon, rubbish. Gears, not a fan. Armada Scavenger, I've heard bad reports. So, I don't know, but then I'm a bit of a completionist, so I won't mind getting them just for the sake of it. But, we'll have to wait and see. If it is 3,000 5-star shards and that is correct, that's pretty good for each of them. It's 3, 6, 9, 12,000 shards, so that's not bad. I don't mind spending on them just to collect them. But I've got Overlord already, so 9,000. Not bad. Crystal Sale as well, where it's going to have some Kremzeeks and Combats and 5,000 5-star shards, maybe, but a 0.1% chance. I don't like these 0.1% chances. I don't mind the 1% chance ones. I kind of get that, because then you got to spend like $100 to be able to get it. And $100 for 5,000 5-star combat shards is not stupid, considering there's a bundle in the store for $20, which gets you 5,000 5-star combat shards. So I think 0.1% is a bit stupid, really. It's even 1% for a 4-star combat, and it's just, I just feel like they're getting very loose with a lot of the economy, but then some of it they're still tight with, and you're like, I don't get why. So anyway, yeah, good luck with that. Then it's explaining the Kremzeek battle boosters, which colours and what does what. Then the saga schedule, which we're going to talk about shortly, so I won't go through the saga schedule too much, but it is in the news that I'd advise you, not advance you, I'd advise you to go and have a look at it, guys, and see what's what. And then obviously check out Freezers Max, Soldier, and myself, and CF, all your official content creators. Go and check out their channels, guys, and go and check out their content. And there's no team stream planned for the foreseeable future. What a surprise there. Cool. Well, let's see what everyone is sort of saying in the chat. Yeah, it's put the Trax has put it's coming up with our channel's name rather than our display name for some reason. Yeah, don't know. Who knows? Don't know what's going on. Yeah, Darklands has got 100k 5-star shards. Yeah, I worked it out. That I had like 60k 5-star shards just in 4-star shards, if that makes sense. By pulling Duke 4 stars. Yeah. So have a look. What else? Darklands, that's mental. Lou Magus, thank you. Although I was never really gone as such, but I get you mean though. Grandtown, wait, what? Wasn't just say he's a completionist? I am, but I'm also efficient. So if all the 5-star bots all of a sudden became like 3,000 5-star shards, I'd probably pull them all because like I was like it's good value. I think. So yeah, maybe. But yeah, let's talk about this schedule. There we go. Sort of I've blown the schedule up. Oops. What's going on? There we go. Is that big enough, I think? There we go. We can miss that bottom bit out. It's fine. So this is obviously the saga schedule that they announced last week, and it didn't it didn't hit well with the community. And I remember story time. Story time was a. I remember a while back, a similar thing happened where they tried stacking a few hard events in a close period. And the community sort of was up in arms saying, this is not good enough, this is ridiculous, blah, 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 blah. You get the gist. And then the apes said, okay, we hear you, we're going to change it, and they changed it. Then it led to people suggesting things, how to fix things. Freezer's Max came out with an idea for, I think it was like a 12-week saga or something, and everyone came out with different ideas on how they can kind of fix it so people aren't getting burnt out, there's not too many big events, and they can sort of space things out equally. Now, for me personally, I would say there needs to be 3 weeks between each big event. So I would say you could probably get away with roughly having 3 per saga at a push. At a push. So you might have an easy 1 week one, a hard 1 week 2, then a hard 1 week 5, and then a hard 1 week 8. So 2, 5, 8. So then the only problem with that is that between 2 and 8, you've only got 2 weeks. But with it being 8 weeks, you can't have 3 between each week because it's not 9 weeks, it's 8. So that's kind of the way it goes. It was 9 weeks, it'd be dead simple, 3 weeks between each big event. And I kind of think that would make sense. But they want to keep it with the 8-week saga, which is fine. It's up to them. But the problem with this is that obviously there's so many hard events. There's 4 hard events in a 6-week period, which is kind of scandalous. Now, that's bad enough. But I work in an industry where we have to try and estimate what people are going to spend of their income, going out drinking, going out enjoying themselves, disposable income. So people will always try and pay their bills and things like that. But you got to think that over the summertime, people have gone on holiday, people spent on credit cards, people spent quite a lot of money taking the kids out here, there, and everywhere. And the majority of the players that play this game are grown men with families, 40, 50 years old. So most of the people have probably done those things over the summer. And then this kind of year, September, October, is always a bit of a lull in the service industry because it's a time where everyone has spent a lot of money and everyone is getting ready for spending a lot of money again at Christmas. So those that have spent a lot are quite hard on cash, and those that are waiting for Christmas are spending money, so they're going to be hard on cash. It's that kind of time of year. It's always the case early January. It's always the case September, October. As long as I can remember, done this job for 25 years in the service sector, so I understand this is always the way. So it comes as a bit of a surprise when straight after this sort of lull that we get in the industry, we have 4 hard events where they're expecting you to spend quite a lot of money. So as you can see, the Legacy Bots is a 100,000 point event each. The 5-star combiner is individual endurance for 120k. Now, granted, it is mayhem, but it's still a difficult weekend. It's still a big weekend, and it's still the fact you've got to spend. Then it's Thanksgiving, nice easy event. Then it's 5-star Titan, right before Christmas, individual endurance, and then we got 125,000 points. Then 2 weeks after that, so we've already got 4 in 6 weeks with this one. We've got a new Prime and Artifact right before Christmas, as in the week of Christmas, and that's an Alliance leaderboard, 100k each. So basically, they are asking you to put up around 500k points in the space of 6 weeks. That's a lot. That's a lot. I think you're probably looking at around $40 to $60. Let's say $50 to round it up. If you're being quite efficient, to do 120k, 130k. Let's say $50 to be very economic. But you times that by 4, you're talking around $200 right before Christmas. That's not including Black Friday. That's not including anything else. Crystals you might buy. That's straight before Christmas. Now, obviously, Thanksgiving is a massive time in America, and most of this game's players are in America as a big majority. I can see that from my YouTube analytics that most people that watch my stream are from America. So a lot of the people are from America that play the game. So Thanksgiving is also a huge deal. Now, I can't comment on whether people spend money on Thanksgiving. I presume they do buy a bit of food and stuff, but I don't know. No, it's time for families and stuff. I kind of know what Thanksgiving is, but I couldn't tell you people's spending patterns for Thanksgiving. But regardless, even if you spend nothing in the middle of this, it's still 4 in 6 weeks of huge events. We kind of agreed a few years ago that Alliance Leaderboard were a bad idea, and yet we see them coming back right before Christmas. Right before Christmas. And I think something else that hits on top of this is that the new legacy bots, I wouldn't say they're essential content really, but people are going to go for it. I mean, 5-star tracks is not essential, but people are going to want it definitely. The 5-star combiner is not essential content, but people are definitely going to go and want it. The 5-star Titan, is it going to be essential content? We don't know yet, but people are definitely going to go for it. And the new Prime could be essential content. We just don't know. So there's a lot of content in there that's going to put a lot of pressure for FOMO for people. Fear of missing out. People are going to want this new content to stay relevant. Now, legacy bots, you can kind of say, okay, we don't need to do that. But if Raiden and Dino King are going to be the best combiners in the game, I'm just guessing. I'm not saying they are. But I always say that new content are better than old content. And I know as 4-star versions, they're very good. So as 5-star versions, people are going to need that to stay relevant at top levels maybe, eventually. As the game gets to get harder, maybe HU 19, whatever, but it's probably going to be essential content, or people are going to think it might be. 5-star Arc and Nemesis, they were the best Titans at 4-star and the hardest to beat. So for 5-star, people are definitely going to desire them. So it's kind of a bit of an essential content without looking at the balancing. And the new Prime, everyone's going to watch and get because it's the new Prime, basically. But it's a lot to ask. And my big issue is that if this is a kind of new game and we're sat here going 4 in 6 weeks is quite a bit, I'd be like, okay, well, let's give them the feedback, give them a chance to correct it, and they know for the future that, this is not really acceptable. The problem is they do this time and time again. Time and time and time and time and time again. How many times, put it in the chat, how many times do you think we've gone? Honestly, give me a number. How many times do you think that we've spoken with the team about putting too many big events in close proximity and told them that they need to space it out more? I'm not even talking about Christmas and Thanksgiving and in the lull of the year. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking even Easter. I'm talking Easter, March, September, July, all those sort of summer months where people sort of got a bit more money and people have, are doing things like that. How many times do you think we've actually spoke to them? How many times? I'm willing to bet it's probably over the years about 30 times. I'm willing to bet. Honestly. Now, again, if it was a new team and the team had never been on the game and they didn't know and they're trying something new, I'd be kind of like, okay, well, we're talking about it before, but it's a new team, they don't know. Maybe they but most of these people that are running the game now have been there for years. There's no one really new in the team. All the team's been there long enough to know this is not what we want. So the question you're going to ask is, why? Why, after all the feedback we're giving, saying that this is not acceptable, why are they doing it again? So is it a scheduling issue in terms of Hasbro? Because they've agreed with Hasbro, they're going to release them at certain times. Have they just been doing that so little content recently for the last couple of months that now they're like, oh, we need to get some content out quick and just rushing it out? Because something else as well is that none of this is in playtest. So the next bit of content is on the 14th of November. It's only a week away. Now, granted, Tracks and Power Glide are probably the most two balanced things out of all this. Very close. And as we've said, Power Glide and Cyclonus are getting a buff, which we're going to look at later and talk a bit about that. So they are probably the nearest thing that is to being balanced. But I'm not sure they are balanced though. I'm not too sure. And we'll talk a bit about that later again. In terms of Combiner, Raiden Dino King, he's not balanced at all. I believe the 4-star version is bugged. I could be wrong, but maybe it wasn't working right, and then someone said again it wasn't working in some way or something. Because he's quite a good combiner, so why do you not see him on defense and attack that much? There's got to be something wrong, I think. Not 100% sure, but I remember we had quite a few problems in testing and when it was released quite quickly and rushed. So that's going to be a problem. We've not even tested the 5-star really. We've had a bit of play with it back then, but we've not balanced it because we were told that the 5-star version's not being balanced yet because it's way ahead. So we didn't balance it. We had a go of it. Said we liked it, but it's not in balance at all. It could be overpowered for all I know. It could be underpowered. I don't know. And then we've got the, like I said, the Titan event, Arc and Nemesis. I mean, the 4-star is in the game, but we haven't balanced the 5-star. But I'm just gonna slap a 5-star ability on it that's exactly the same as Fort Max and exactly the same as Metroplex. It's a bit boring. They're just gonna do that. Just slap a 5-star ability on it, the same damage, and go right. Okay, there you go. What's the point then in getting Arc and Nemesis? So I didn't actually go for 5-star Fort Max. Found out a waste of time. Didn't need it. And guess what? Up to now, not got it. Don't need it. Doing fine without it. And then also the new Prime. So even the new Prime, the Primes are a huge aspect of the game right now. Massive release for the game, and Megatronus just did not hit. Did not hit at all. People just don't want to level him. It's too hard. They haven't got the balance right with the content that was out a month ago. Megatronus is still not right in terms of people wanting to use him, people wanting to level him. I'll be honest, I don't take him to battles. He gives me very little advantage in any way, so I don't bother. And there's actually reports of him crashing the game in wars. That's the last thing I need. So I'm not bothering with Megatronus. So although the new Prime might be balanced behind the scenes, there's a lot more balancing to do for primes generally, more than what that prime just is. A lot of questions on how we're going to make primes relevant, and it's more again than just putting another prime out. It needs to go back to the drawing board a bit and looking at what their actual job is, because we spoke about the other week about how the new primes are no better than a combat. And when you have to spend a lot of money leveling them, a lot of XP, like 10 times the XP a bot needs, it needs to be a serious investment, and it needs to be worthy that investment and give you a good advantage in the game. So, a lot of content there. And then we talk about combats and bots. The new next combat is early Jan, which is fine. But then we've got a new bot end of Jan. So is that going to be the way where we get a new bot every 3 months? And so we're not going to see him in batches for a year, maybe? You know, I just think the way they're doing this, really, they've not really thought it out. It's not been really well thought out. So I'm intrigued to see what happens. We had a boycott chat, I think, back then. I'd be intrigued to see if that opens again and people start boycotting alliances and boycotting events again. Because of it, I've seen plenty of feedback to the apes, but this has not changed after a week, so I presume it's going to stay. So, my advice to everyone is that what I would do if I was you is pick your poison. Pick your event on which one you want to do and go with that. The problem I've got there is I want to go for the new Prime. I do. I've always said that Prime being melee doesn't work, but a Prime is Gunner or Healer, maybe a special to a point, but definitely not melee. Prime being melee makes no sense. But if it's anything other than that, I'm interested. Because it adds DPS to your team. So it will stay right back. So I'm intrigued on what it's going to be like. The problem I've got is, though, I don't want to miss out on Tracks and Power Glide waiting for this new Prime. I don't want to miss out on Raiden and Dino King as 5-star because I'm waiting for this new Prime. And then miss out on 5-star Titan Arc and Nemesis because I'm saving just to go for this Prime. Then do 100k and the Prime is trash. Or even before it, realise it's trash and go, I'm not doing this event. Because then I've missed some other events where maybe could have competed in. And I'm like, you know what? I'm not going for the Prime. I'm going for this instead. But until we get these things in playtest, we're kind of just stuck here thinking, I don't know what to go for, I don't know what to do. Do I do the event? Do I not? Do I need to spend? I've got 101 questions. But what I do know is that they need to get his content in test quickly. Because we've not seen any of it in test properly. And it's getting closer and closer by the minute. Events are speeding up and catching up with us. And they're coming in quick succession. They're hard. So let me know in the chat what you guys think. Are you guys going to pick certain events and go for them? Are you going to do them all? Are you fine still spending loads of money on this game? Oh, you're literally going to go, listen, it's too much for me. I'm done. Let me know in the chat what you guys think. Dark Lance has asked if there's any info on the next balance patch. There is some info, but it's not solid info yet. And I've asked Dale and Callum, and they can't give me a yes or no, basically, on whether it's set or whether it's close. So I did hit them up, I didn't get a reply, sadly. Like I said, I'm a bit busy at the minute. So I don't know right now. But I do know some of the things that are probably going to happen. But before they do happen, I need to know. You know, we sort of spoke about this. I don't want to go over it again. But if I'm not sure about something, I'll always hit the team up and go, listen, I think I'll talk about this tonight. Like, you know, how far is this along? You know, is this what's happening, or is it going to change? And you know, 'cause you don't want to do a stream and then put the video out a week later, and within a week it's irrelevant or wrong. That's the last thing I want. So I want to make sure that what's coming out is what's actually going to happen. So I could do a stream, I could do a video, post a week or two later, and it is relevant for what's being changed and what's happening. So it all depends on that. Cuddy Fox has put all Dale and Calamar is community managers. You have to ask the other devs instead. I have no contact with the devs. The devs don't talk to anyone. Rarely play testers, but they do. But rarely. Trax has put, if the content isn't already in playtest, then chances are it's going to be bugged and trash based on previous experience. And I said this in the Cybertron chat to Callum. I said, listen, the team stock is really low right now. No one trusts them, and you're not giving people any reason to trust them. Because you're not only just making mistakes, you're making the same mistakes time and time again. And it's almost like you're trying to push buttons or trying to test boundaries and go, listen, 6 months ago they said they didn't want 3 big events in 4 weeks. Let's see what they do now. Let's push the button and see what happens. And it's almost like, you know, just prodding someone constantly. So, yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know what's happening in terms of the content. I really don't. What else? Have a look. John Downey, welcome to the stream. Has put, so what is the plan for primes? Are the rest of the primes going to like Megatronus version or like Vector Nova? Again, we don't know. But I will say that I did see a post which said that all primes are going to melee. And I asked Dale about it. And Dale said, I don't think that would be the case, but you never know. But I don't think it would be the case. He couldn't say for sure. But it's still frustrating that we're getting melee primes because they're trash. So we'll see. Maybe they've changed their mind by then. Maybe it's already done. Who knows? Yeah, just when he asked about, you know, how many times do you reckon asked them, I was putting like 20 in too many times, stuff like that. So yeah. Cool. Volcanica 696, sorry. Let's put balance patch, more like nerf patch. No, I think there was quite a few buffs in this one. There's a few nerfs, the usual suspects. I think it was Ratchet, I think it was Rust Dust, maybe Sunstreaker. But lots of buffs for everyone else. Well, not everyone else, but a load more bots. So yeah. Cool. Right, let's transfer over to this minute. Go on my main account a minute. Hasdale said they are looking at how to bring back P-Ling. Who? Who's P-Ling? I missed something here. Who's P-Ling? Oh, power level. I thought it was a person. I was like, who's this P-Ling I keep hearing about? What do you reckon, guys? Do you reckon he's going to beat my base? Think he's going to get through? Let's see how my base works, eh? Yeah, it works. I just like to watch the pathing and see how they go. Pathing seems to work at the minute, I think. Yeah, defended. Done alright. Cool. I'll take that. Seems to work. Yeah, Dalton's put not enough power in that squad for your base. I've seen some good players though take on my base and win still with a lower, maybe not that low, maybe, but low powered teams. I'm like, all right, fair play, fair play, fair play. I believe they are looking at power level. It did mention something, but again, because Dale's not been available, there's nothing concrete. I don't want to mention anything in case it was something he was talking with the team about, or the team were talking, whatever, talk to him about, whatever. But nothing set in stone. But I believe they are doing something. So yeah, there's that. Cool. So recently, I've noticed quite a bit of a meta shift in terms of wars, in terms of defense. So for a long time, people were doing sort of time trap bases. Remember the time trap bases, but a bit like sort of what I've done here, and sort of trying to slow people down, split people up, things like that. And everyone's putting high HP bots in outposts, like you'd find Headstrong and Pipes, and you'd find like obviously Beachcomber and Deluge and bots like that. Red Alert, Run Amok. These sort of bots that have got a lot of HP and take a lot of time to kill. People putting Vector on these bots, and things like Lightspeed was an option for a while. All these sort of warriors, high HP bots with high HP combats, such as Jazzy and Jays, whatever you want to call it. I like calling it Jazzy for a laugh. But a lot of HP, 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 HP. But what we're finding is that when people are doing that, they find it quite easy to get through the bases. The effects are quite easy right now, and so then it's just a case of just timing, and then it's just a case of just speeding your bots up, getting through faster. But what we're finding now is that this always happens, that people shift back and forth between things. So what we're finding now is that what people have done is gone, okay, so people find it quite easy because all the bots are just high HP. What we're going to do now is we're going to switch things up. So what people have been doing is they've been putting high DPS bots in outposts. So the idea now is that we have the likes of Optimus in outposts a lot. We have obviously Beachcomber with his hack still. We have the likes of Cosmos, who hacks and still has good DPS. The likes of Overload, who does good DPS, great protection. Bots like Twin Twist still. And we even still see Red Alert. Even though Red Alert's got high HP, it's still got a decent amount of DPS. So people are flooding their outposts with high damage bots. I'm not talking gunners and jets, nothing like that, but mostly like specials. And then putting combats on them to give them that extra damage, hoping that you've got to drop your combiner and you might time out. So with all these meta shifts, we can obviously try and look at how we can change our squads, how we can evolve our squads to try and deal with this and make it easier. And I've got a great trick for you guys. So I've been using this guy since he came out as a 5-star. I've always rated him. Now some people look at him and go, yeah, but bit of a glass cannon. He dies very quickly, and sometimes you can't get his abilities off. But I use him quite different to how other people may use him. Now I've seen some people hacking an area with the 4-star ability, and then straight away then doing the 5-star ability over the top. Now I know it gets 100 electric damage, but it's 100. It's 1.5k damage. It's not a lot. And yes, it does combo with the Blizzard. But for me, they don't go hand in hand. Because the hack makes them do more damage. And then the 5-star cryo slows them down. So why do you want to slow down defenses that are trying to kill all the defenses? And then if you use the hack and then use the 5-star ability to destroy the defenses, then why are you hacking a defense that you're going to destroy anyway? So a good tactic is to use the 5-star ability on the base. It's a great ability, does a lot of damage. But I actually use the 4-star ability on the outpost bots instead. So what I tend to do is try and pop the outposts. I'll try and drag them across and then hack them with Computron. And then those bots will then go and attack their own base. And because they're putting these high DPS bots in now, it does an incredible amount of damage to their own base. And just to double on top of that as well, whilst you're battling their combiner normally, you'll have all these DPS bots hitting on your bots. So you'll have the combiner hitting your bots, you'll have their bots hitting your bots, doing tons of damage, and you need to use things like tracks and overload to protect your bots. But because you're hacking their bots, it means that they're not in the fold. It means that their combiner, yeah, is hitting against 1 or 2 of your bots, but you're just dealing with the combiner. And what you tend to find is, while you're dealing with their combiner, their own bots are killing their own base. And then by the time you've killed the combiner, then the bots stop getting hacked, and then you deal with the bots separately. And it makes it a lot more efficient to get through, a lot faster, and honestly, absolutely immense. And it's worked wonders for me in War. I found it so easy with Computron. And it doubles up as well, because people are timing out because of the high HP of combiners and how much they've got shields and lasting. Computron doesn't have that. It does have a 2-star ability, which kind of... Sorry. It does have a 3-star ability that gives him stealth, which sort of protects him a tiny bit for 8 seconds. But he does die quite quickly. But in wars, that's a good thing. You want him to do a lot of damage very quickly, die quickly, and give you plenty of time to get through the base. So if you're struggling with outpost bots currently, because they've got such high DPS, if you're struggling for time on bases, because your combiner's lasting so long and doing damage, but they're not dying quick enough, this is the solution. This is the guy that will solve that for you. And I will not use any other combiner in War other than Computron. And I suggest if you've got 5-star Computron, guys, go and give it a try in Wars. Bear with it. Learn how to use it. People struggle with it sometimes to get the abilities off. Use the stealth to get him under that stealth and protect it so no one's going to attack him. Get the 4-star ability down on the outpost bot, so they kill their own base. Then use the 5-star, and that 5-star ability, coupled with their own bots killing their own defenses, the base is gone. The base is gone in seconds. So, give it a try. Let me know what you think. Let's have a look. So Dartons has put, I use comp a lot lately, more than Volcanicus. Yeah, I use Volcanicus in events. Very good in events. I use Comptron in Warzone. Definitely. But Dartons put the Cryo has longer range than the hack. Yeah, that is true. Put, I feel like front-loaded bases and the fact they work are an indictment in the game design. Not really. They don't really work. I kill front-loaded bases easily. I did a video on it quite a while ago. It's still relevant now. Go and check it out. Super easy. I find front-loaded bases the easiest base. Honestly. Dartons has put use stealth, then hack, then cryo, then stealth again. Yeah, that is exactly what I do. It's exactly what I do. The only time I will use the rush is if I'm well out of range or something. But yeah, I rarely use the rush attack as well. Yeah, same. Blade 1999 has put my output spots all have combats was Andy Hack. Anti-hack, I think he means, not Andy Hack. But yeah, if you got anti-hack on, then fair enough, yeah. But it's very rare you'll get all the outpost spots with anti-hack, because then you find that they're not geared towards having high DPS, and some high DPS bots can't equip those combats. So, for example, if you've got Overload on, in terms of combats, you're looking at a DPS combat, so you're not going to put anti-hack on him. You can't do. You're looking at Cosmos, same reason. You can't get anyone does that, so you can't put anti-hack on him. Yes, you can on like the Red Alert, things like that. You can put Buzz Strike on, stuff like that, and Forge. But again, Red Alert is more HP than DP. Not more HP than DPS, but he's in the middle ground. He's not got loads of HP and loads of DPS. He kind of got a decent amount of each. So it can be difficult to put anti-hack on them all. But yes, you can on some of them. You can. Cloud Gaming's put I use Sensius, Bludgeon, DB2, Ripper, and Sound in my outpost, and 4-star Loudcard in my beacon on my base. You find a lot of low to mid players use Soundwave in an outpost. It was very much meta at one point, but not so much anymore. He struggles a bit in outpost, and obviously Bludgeon sort of comes under that high HP sort of bracket. Ripper Snapper obviously under that high DPS bracket, and Sensius a bit of both, a bit high DPS and high HP as well. So yeah, and it's a good choice there of outposts, a bit of a mixture. But I'd think about Soundwave. I'd really think about that. Traxxas put I use Comptron in wars mainly. Yeah, same. Use the cryo for the main defense, use the hack for the combiner and bots. Yeah. Cuddy Fox spot. I don't do many wars. I set them up to my alliance, but I usually stay out of them. I did do a war during the side pass, and for somehow I did all 5 bases without a combiner. Well done. What level do you war at? Let me know. Dalton spot anti-hack on beach just mean. Yeah, Cuddy Fox has put I see Soundwave is like no, and Dynabot pretty good in the beginning, but not later in the game. Yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah. Don Bailey's put why the players put their HQ right there in front. You mean when they put it like? You mean like when they do this? Hang on. You mean like when they literally like put the HQ like there at his own? The reason to do that is to help people at weekends, although it doesn't really help that much, really. But especially like Mayhem anyway, because they've got to kill the base anyway. So, but yeah, people do that at weekends to help people get extra points. People tried making it a thing back in the day where everyone did it for events, but it never just caught on really. Because a lot of top alliances still war in events, and so they still need their base to be decent and sufficient, regardless. Cuddy Fox just put, I think it was Cyber. I know the last base had 5-star Metroplex, decent. Well, yeah, I think as a standard in Prime, you've got to have a maxed out Titan pretty much, like a standard for Prime League. Like just level, that's all. Different level. But listen, if you're doing that good in Cyber, where you're doing a war, or even all 5 bases, without a combiner and doing well, then I'd say go and try your hand at Prime League. Just go and get it going. You know, the natural progression, natural one to step up to. Cool. Next up, just want to talk about the primes, basically. Briefly, sort of. Nothing too crazy. So, there's been a lot of talk about the next prime and what's the next prime going to be like. Now, personally, reading between the lines, I think it's going to be another melee prime. After speaking to Dale, he was kind of under the impression that primes were announced as being melee, but they are looking at them not being melee kind of in the future. And so that makes me think that future primes will maybe be gunners, will maybe be healers, things like that. But for now, they're going through melee. That's where they were sort of initially designed behind the scenes. So I feel like primes as a melee bot are not very good. I'm a bit more optimistic about primes that are gunners and healers. They can still do a bit of a job adding DPS. And when HU19 comes along, you're going to need all the DPS you can get. So I imagine a gunner prime or a healer prime means I can drop a healer or add a gunner in my team. So should be beneficial if that's where they go. Now, you see a lot of questions about, a new resource. I kind of get there's a lot of resources in the game. Not as much as some others, if I'm honest. But I think everyone groans when you see a new resource because you have to collect a new resource again. But I kind of get the thinking on this one. I kind of understand that people are so overflowing with other resources that it doesn't make sense. And one of those resources is Prime Cores. If you can find them now. So I've got 70,000 Prime Core shards. So I'm sure people asking the question, which I kind of understand. Well, we've got Prime Core shards. Why can't we use that for primes? So, long story short, let's put a scenario in there. So you got a player that's going through the game, and they're trying to catch up to the top players, and they've just started collecting defense prime cores. They won't have enough prime core shards to get the new prime and to get defense cores. So they'll have to make a choice, which either way is detrimental if primes are going to be all that. And so they're going to try and have to play catch up and make a choice and lose out on one thing. Then you double stack that onto the fact that for the sake of me, I will get probably the first prime in day one. And let's just say they make it 50,000 shards for the primes. They're going to have to then put them in events and make them a big deal. Now, at the minute, they're not a big deal, but they have to make them a big deal. But if 50,000 shards, you could argue, okay, make the prime 50,000 shards, give away 5,000 shards per event, people can use them for prime core shards, and then people can use them for other primes, a bit more expensive, suits, win-win. And you know what? I'd agree, normally that would be the case. But the problem is players like me already have 70,000. We've already got an influx of resources. So if they bring out the primes tomorrow and it costs 50k, then people got to spend like 10 events for one prime just getting the prime without leveling it. Whereas me, I'll pick it tomorrow. I'm done already. And this is the big problem with the game, is that for too long people got too many resources and no real way to use it. And so for me, the biggest way to solve this game, I think the biggest one is obviously listen to the players. That's one thing you need to do. Listen to playtests, listen to the players, go and make a start on that, fix the bugs. That's what I was saying. But I think the biggest way to fix this game is to have a reason to use all the resources for everything. So the minute I've got no use of Prime Core shards, I'm overflowing with them. And this is not me flexing and bragging, guys. I'm just making a point. I've got 28,000 5-star combat shards. I could go and pull some really cruddy combats, but I've got all the ones that I want and need. So I've got no use for combat shards. I've got most of the 5-star bots that I want, so I'm saving them. And as you can see, I've got obviously a shed load of 4 stars and shed load of prems. And if you go to my space bridge, I've got a shed load of crystals as well. So I need a reason to open these crystals. I need a reason to pull them Prime Core shards. And this all evolves around cores, if you think about it. You've got Prime Cores, which get defense cores. You've got crystals, which give you cores, whether it's attack or defense. And then you've got likes of bots and combats that you don't need because wars are too easy. So what's the solution? Is HQ19 a solution? Every time there's a HQ upgrade, it makes it so much harder. But if they brought some new powerful cores out for defense, that might make a bit of a difference. And for me, I just think they're missing a massive trick here. They could easily bring these cores out, make them quite powerful, and then all the top players will naturally get these because they've got abundance of crystals. All the mid-level players won't, and then the standard will kind of stay the same a bit and not progress too much. And then they can go and try and collect them over time and get stronger. HQ19 I don't think is the answer right now. I think it's going to put a lot of people off. I just think for me, I think that's quite obvious to how to sort of fix the economy. You need to get rid of everyone's abundance of stuff and bring out a reason for them to use it. Otherwise, it's never going to go. And what you find is that I got to a point the other day where a Combiner Gate bundle came out. I was like, you know what? I'm not going to buy it. I always do, but I don't need to. I've got so many crystals. It's just going to sit there and add up. So I'm kind of at a point now where I'm not buying crystals. So I'm at a point where it was too easy. I'm just competing for the sake of it. I don't need crystals. I don't need shards. I don't need spark. And I've said this before, but just kind of making a point. This is kind of where the game is at. That the top players have everything. We need to have a reason to have people open up these resources, including the Prime Core shards as well. We're still waiting for Alpha Triumph, by the way. That's another story. But we need a reason to open these resources. There's no point putting a new resource in if you're going to let every other resource in the game be irrelevant for people mostly. So, for me, that's where the first fix comes. But we will wait and see. But that is a good reason why we can't have Prime Core shards, sadly, getting primes. But let me know what you guys think. What's the solution for Prime Core shards? What can we use them for? We could use them for cores, but we've already got all the cores pretty much. And over time, for the last year, people have been collecting them. So what else could we use Prime Core shards if it's not primes? What new cores would you put in the game? For what defense would you put it on? What defense would you make more powerful? How would that impact the game? Let me know in the chat, guys. RG, but what cost do you think the Prime will be at? Well, I'll put it on here. The Prime is going to be at 100k. Or it's going to be 2 primes. So they get extra prime. So you have 1 prime at 100k, then you have a leaderboard for the other one. Mad as it is. Tracks 80. Are you sure you got enough Prime Core shards to get the last defense when it drops? Maybe. How far off is that AT core? Miles off. There was still top out the other day. And I'm going to take a bit of flack for that, but I've explained this before. I don't mind doing it again. The reason that the Alpha Trion core got shelved was because me and, I won't mention who, but another player, we were told that the Alpha Trion core is going to increase the range of a defense. And we're like, that's pretty cruddy. Considering Liege Maximo on attack hacks, on defense it hacks. Micronus on attack heals, on defense it heals. Amalgamus increases the ability damage of bots when transformed on attack. On defense, it increases the damage of outpost bots. Everything defense core wise matched attack core wise, but they're going to do something different with the Alpha Trion because the tech wasn't there to do it. And that was years ago. And instead of actually finding the tech or finding a way and doing something with it and sorting it, instead they just shelved it. So it is what it is. But it's one of them things again where there's so much things they need to do, so much stuff, and they just don't have the time or don't have the capability to do it in the time frame they got. Cuddy Fox has put players of all the bots and spend money if any new content comes out, regardless if it's good or not. Yes, some do. It's always the case. Not everyone though. I'm not for one. Yeah, Trax says, but I had to go look at my Prime Core shards. Didn't realize I had 70k by now. Yeah, exactly. Don't Bailey's put they need more Prime Core events. I only have 3 cores, level 93. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Like, that's the point I'm making. There's people out there that don't have the Prime Core, so they can't use Prime Cores for another resource because then everyone's just playing catch up with them. Trax 80 Sport. If the game shuts down tomorrow, you have a lot of unused Combiner Gate crystals that you bought for nothing there, bud. I know, but I'm banking on them being useful for something one day. If not, I've still not lost anything. Because you know what? Even if I don't open them combining, even if I did open them Combiner Gate crystals, I'm going to get cores that I don't need. I'm going to get spark that I don't need. I don't need any resource. I don't need spark. Again, just showing you here. I don't need spark. That's all just in achievements. I think I've got about a mil left. I've spent loads trying to just get every. I'm just trying to get every bot to level 10 now, honest with you. So 1.5 mil there, which is really low for me. And again, I've got, I don't even know what I've got, but I've got 8 mil combat spark. So there's literally not a single resource that I need because I don't even want Megatron spark because it's crap. Universal Prime Spark. That's probably the only resource. That and Cybertron Alloy is the only resource I'm playing for right now. That is literally it. I don't even need 5-star shards. Cuddy Fox's bot. I did open a new 5-star bot. Ended up getting Wheeljack. That made me have to open for the new combat because he is all left in the batch. I mean, could I? Fair enough. Decent bot. I use Wheeljack on my war team even to this day. Blade 1999's put you should only be allowed to keep anything in your inventory for 30 days. Job done. No, that'd be tragic. Imagine me losing all them crystals I paid for. You know what I'm doing? I'm getting it refunded. And I'll get it refunded as well if you did that. Promise you. Track support, use Prime Core Shaft rank ups. I just don't think it works unless you're ranking up primes maybe, but yeah. Cuddy Fox, think we need to add more to the Alliance HQ. I agree. Again, something else talked about and not happened since. Yeah. Also, what Phil's got it spot on there. The tech can't do it, which means our programming team isn't capable of it. Well, maybe. Berserk's got a good point. But what they need to do is get more beginner and intermediate players a leg up, so there's more competition. Yeah, I kind of agree. In fact, I agree a lot. I agree. Um. Geez, but I hate that Universal Spark is 5 times higher than Prime Specific Spark. The ratio is too high. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I started buying Universal Spark, thinking, oh, right, if I spend a tenner, that'll get me a decent level. I think I spent about $40 on Universal Spark right now, and it gets in one rank. So I won't buy it anymore. Again, I think it's just another resource that's been poorly balanced, and so I won't be buying that anymore or chasing that anyway. Either way, sad as it is. Cool. Right. Okay. Crack on. Let's have a look at Powerglide. Sorry, guys. Ah. Okay. So, cast your mind back to when this guy first came into test. I was talking about how he has a multiple function, how I might use him for different things. Was quite excited to how it was going to work. So back in the day, it was around 6k damage. It was taking out a build bot, and then he did double damage once he get to 6 ability points, and that worked out about 12k damage. Now I did say to Dale at the time, I said one thing you have to be careful of. You don't want people to get rid of the shield gen, then just use Powerglide and take out the 2 MDS and the 2 cannons and just clear that area. It needs to be balanced exactly right. You need to get it with the maximum core, the maximum level, the maximum rank, and it needs to leave a bit of health on a shock tower and a MDS, and that's generally the sort of border where AoE abilities are and should be. You should be able to take out MDS and shock towers with AoE abilities. It should be direct single shot abilities to take them out. That's kind of how it's designed, how they're balanced. So, next thing we know, they are coming in the game, and I go to review it, and all of a sudden he's doing a lot less damage. And I'm like, that's a bit strange. He wasn't doing that before. The ability damage was reduced, and so was the percentage of damage that he does at 6 ability points. And so he literally went from being a decent utility bot that can be used for different reasons to being absolutely trash. Like that, in a snap. And I hit Dale up about this and said, listen, this is really poor. This is really awful. This is nothing like what he was like before. Can we sort of get him back to that? He's like, well, what's the problem? I said, well, you've got to think that in the game, the minimum really amount of damage that people want is to be able to kill a build bot. It's one of the lowest HP buildings. You can say spider mines or something else instead, but if you're using, for example, air raid and a bot, you want to be able to take out multiple targets. You don't want to be limited to just spider mines. So build bots is generally the thought of that's the minimum ability damage people should really do. So you're looking about 6k damage. Now, if that's in an area, maybe it's a bit OP, maybe it's not, but definitely if you're talking low ability cost, one hit target, which is what Powerglide is. So he always needed to target build bots and be able to kill build bots. That was actually always the case. That's the minimum. And then the question mark comes from what percentage he should have done afterwards. So currently he does 1.75%, which gives him 10,638 damage. So look at Powerglide, like we said, 6,007 6,079, 1.75 damage, which is 10,638. Now looking at hard mode here, so as we said, 12,090 for MDS, but also gets a 20% health increase on top of that. So another 2.5k. It's looking at about 14.5k for an MDS. That's sort of like the golden number. You don't want it to do any defenses do more than like 12k in the area, really. So Power Glide doing 10k means he can't kill the MDS. Look at the shock towers, 11.8 again, plus 20%. 1,100, 2,200. You're talking 14k damage again. He's not going to be able to take that out. The next one down from that is a cannon. You got 10.2, increased by 20%. You're talking about 12,000 damage. So again, Power Glide can't take that out. Next up then, you're looking at mortars. 9490, 20%. You're talking 1,800. You're talking about 11,200. Again, Power Glide can't take out mortars. Then you're looking at launchers and beams. Again, 20%. You're talking 850. You're talking 1,700. And that leads at 10,200, 300-ish. Which means that Power Glide will just be able to take it out. So for Power Glide, you're looking at launchers, you're looking at beam lasers, you're looking at build bots. But there's one fundamental problem with Power Glide, and that's that for 6 ability points, you need to get him to 6 ability points. So for me, it was always a case of, okay, you can use it for 6 ability points, but then are you getting to the point where you're just spamming him and using him over and over again? That's a question. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm saying it's a question. Or are you going to get to a point where you're using for 6 ability points and he's not powerful enough? So that 6 ability point ability is so hard to balance because you don't want people putting one bot on their team and just clearing half the base out of one bot. But you also need to make sure that if you're using a bot for 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus 6, you're getting decent value out of it. And it's almost impossible to balance. But it's also got another fundamental problem, is that when they did the balance patch, the idea was that it's going to get some crazy damage. And we said, okay, that's pretty cool. But they said, but we can't have crazy damage and crazy range, which is true. It does make sense. That's been always a problem with any really OP bots. It's not just the damage, but the damage as in the range as well, where you can place it. So Power Glide always had amazing range. So because the damage wasn't that intense, that good, I was fine with him doing 10k damage because he had incredible range. But now we see it's not so incredible. And we see this all the time on maps where the build bots are placed right at the back. I mean, I've got a few here, but I'm talking right at the back up here. Like these, right at the back. And Power Glide just can't reach them. And so, what you're going to find usually on these backloaded bases at the minute is that you got to use Power Glide on the likes of Spider-Man and stuff. He's not going to take anything out on his own. The range just really restricts him from doing any serious damage anywhere. And that's kind of the problem that we've got. Is that he hasn't got great range. He hasn't got amazing damage. He hasn't got anything really going for him. He hasn't got a great cost because it's 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus 6. And so it's kind of a bot where you're like, he's okay. He's not going to be a game changer. But he's alright. It's not bad. And then you've got Trax, who's another bot in that as well. In that event. Which is not much different than the 4-star version. So I don't really sure it's worth going for either. So we're kind of at a stage where I think Powerglide still needs slightly balancing to get right. But sadly, he's not even in test. He's been classified as balanced, shut off, done, finished off, dusted off. We're finished. That's it. This is what we're going to end result we're going to be. But we'll have to see. There may be some last minute changes, but it's been announced for quite a few weeks now, and all we've seen is the bump to the original figures for the initial cost. But the 1.75 seems to be staying. So, what do you guys think? Do you think you'll find some utility in him in wars? Do you think the 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus 6 is too expensive for what you're going to get? Do you think that you could use one bot for multiple things rather than using 2 or 3 with every place in your team? Let me know in the comments what you guys think. Powerglide, win or maybe not? I know you saw me say to Kenan out there, but I believe that prime effects are Titan effects, is it, are not working on the test server. So never have. It makes it so hard to test because I can see there. This is the problem. You see what happens is that we test it on the test server, and we go, "Oh, it's pretty good. This I like this," and then it comes to the live server and it doesn't do what it should. So if I showed you this, for example, let's see. Yeah, Captain Flint just put a bigger bot for cons because combine a piece. Yeah, I kind of get that. Just get his cost up a minute. Okay, here we go. This is the 6th one. Maybe. I'm pretty sure you can't take out a shock tower. Let's have a look. Yeah, Powerglide combine a part of Superion, but Trax is not, is it? For yeah, that one. Galvatronus. Yeah, you can see there. 18 can shock towers up. But again, I'm not even sure if this is the right effects. I won't even know until I test on live. And so this is kind of the problem when I stepped away from Top Wars, I'm sort of testing bots out. This is the problem, that I couldn't rely on anything really because I didn't have the bots. I was just testing on test server. I started doing calculations to try and work out whether something did whatever it should. But it's so hard to judge on test because test does not work properly. Interesting. Now, if he does that on live, I'll be quite interested. Especially if he did more range. But with that range, I'm not too sure. Maybe it is too expensive, maybe. I don't know. I'm on the fence. I'm not convinced yet. I'm not like going, wow, I need this bot. But I'm going like, yeah, I can maybe use him if he does that. If he does that damage. But yeah. Trax 80 is bought. PG needs to do something unique. It kind of does a bit, doesn't it? Kind of does. It evolves 3 times. I don't think any of the bot does that, does it? And don't forget, this was the original one that did this. Everything else has changed since then. This is the original bot that did it. Berserk's put this new ability is shoehorned in without matching character. Someone just wanted to do the ability. Yeah and no. I think it does suit though. Dropping bombs. Yeah. It's a fun idea, but execution and matching the right bot are another question. Maybe. Down on support, I still think Power Glide needs to be a true A10 Warhog. Slow moving, low tank killer, and a tank while in the air. Okay. Berserk's put change this guy to a cryo version of Wingsaber. With a bigger size AoE and be done. No, I think that'd be a bit silly then. With a bigger AoE, it'd be OP. I really think that. Yeah, Cuddy Fox has put people used to use Leo Prime's ability over and over until he was nerfed. Fair point. Darkness might be another bot for a Z mode. Yeah, maybe. Good point. Aren't they taking away the use of primes in elimination mode? Yeah, eventually, yeah. Darklands, you're taking 18 points when you can get more damage out of, say, Star Saber for some points. Yeah, it's a bit different though with melee, though, innit? As well, so yeah. What else? How can you invest resources in like rank skips when bot changes? I think the idea is just to give cost changes this time around, small cost changes, and not do anything too stupid. I think, which kind of makes sense. But it's more buffs than nerfs on the side, I promise you. Cuddy Fox has put the only reason I want Power Glides they make 5-star Superion, which will happen. It's just a matter of when, not if. Cat Kick Your 6 has put SG Thundercracker is the top choice for air class, in my opinion. At low levels, but not at top levels of the game. Top levels of the game. Oh, tracks. Air class, without a doubt. You see Air Rag quite a bit. You see Wing Save quite a bit. Cosmos, massive in defense at the minute. Massive. Tracks 80 Blue Streak was the original bot that ramped up. They just adapted it for Power Glide. No, it's the other way around. So Power Glide was the original bot, and they changed it for Blue Streak. That is the truth, honestly. Cat Kicker's put kickback needs the love more than any con. Yeah, I agree. Does need it. We did speak about me and Dale, but it's going to happen or not. Muff Pico, good to see you. Thanks for joining. Darton support SG Jetfire is not on either of my main war teams. Yeah, exactly. I think at a higher level, people don't want SG Jetfire because it's just so expensive. Long story short, that's the reasoning. Sorry. Still getting used to this new thing, honestly, dangling down. Captain Flintsport, does Tantrum and Hotspot need +3 to his ability? What do you mean +3? I think it's like big on Reflect. Yeah, Reflect is rubbish though, doesn't work properly, I don't think. Yeah, Dalton support he gets killed going to a target too many times. Yeah, same. I found that. I don't find it good enough. I'll tell you what we'll do. Do a nice little war attack or shall I attack? Tracks 80's port. That reminds me, with your new setup, I haven't heard any of the old feedback this stream. That's good. That's really good. That helps me a lot. Thank you. I hope so. I hope so. So let's have a look. Untracked war. So great. So someone mentioned front-loaded bases. Okay. So I'm going to imagine on this front-loaded base there are 3 fire cores. Because generally you won't find more than 3 in here, right? So let's just say there is 3. Let's make it difficult for ourselves. So before I use any firebots, I need to take out 3 bellbots. Okay? 3 fire bellbots. Okay. Some team. Calpitron, as always. Sorry, guys. Okay, so we've got Liège on the MDS there. That's a bit of a problem, but we'll cope by. So what we could do is put smoke screen back at the back. So let's get rid of the actual fire bill bot. We're going to go 1. We're going to go 2 there. Let's imagine this one's the fire bill bot as well. We're going to go 1. We'll go 2 there. Then we're going to go 1 there. We're going to drop pipes. Then we'll go 2 there. And we're going to rush pipes in. So I'm going to protect my squad from that hack. So let's do fire there. Protect him there. We'll do fire over there. And then we're going to go that there. That there. That there as well. Fire again. Out. Let's try and path these bots up there a bit. So a good way to avoid twin twists, throw pipes in there and then use smoke screen, and it should retarget someone else. And if not, I'm going to use it on twin twist. There we go, mate. Oh, I lost him. But he's dead now. But as you can see there, no combiner. Took the base out. Just taking out anti-fire bill bots and then using fire. Smashed it. Yeah, Dan's put out to try that squad makeup for my front loaded bases. I use that same squad for everything. Tracked Aces spot, to be fair, it is Rico Roughnecks. I still use the same thing against Prime. I still use the same against Horde. Honestly, the only reason I feel like you can lose on bases right now is with pathing issues or time. Now, I don't struggle with time ever at all with my team, even with 2 healers. But pathing issues maybe. Front loaded bases don't have pathing issues and don't have time as an issue. So what's the issue there? You know, all you're doing is making sure your bots don't take a lot of damage. And honestly, I've said before that with Computron on defense, I didn't scout the base there. I didn't know the combiner, but literally as the combiner drops, I just use overload. Just gotta make sure the overload is in place. And I have my team set up. I'll show you this as well. So I have my team set up. I've shown this before. So I have pipes so that it can't be hacked by having Forge of Souls Prime. So if pipes rushes off, it can get hacked, but it's not hacked because you can't hack him. My other tank, Rook. I think he can get hooked, can get hacked. Yes, so he can get hacked. Because obviously he hasn't got any anti-hack on him. So Rook can get hacked, but he's not essential to my team really. And then usually what you find is all my gunners here are protected by overload. And what I do is I have Liège Maximo on overload to make sure he doesn't get hacked. So I've got to make sure that overload's not hacked. Because he's the one protecting my gunners, my jets, my snipers, whatever it is. He's the one protecting them, so I can't have him hacked. So he's the most important bot in terms of making sure he doesn't get hacked. So he doesn't get hacked, he prevents everyone else getting hacked. Honestly, that easy. And then from there, it's just DPS. Just make sure DPS goes in. Darklance Warpath is cheaper and does more damage and sits back. He does, but the problem with Warpath is when you're trying to put it right at the bottom of the pad, sometimes you might press one place and you go somewhere else. I did try this with Warpath, but sometimes you can't get the angle right on Billbots. Now, in some base designs, the angles do line up if you put them in the right place as well. But sometimes, if you misdeploy slightly, or if you don't have them ready lined up, so let's just say that all the Billbots are in a straight line that way, you can't use Warpath. So my point there is that on some designs, you are correct. Warpath is a better option, cheaper, but not on all designs. And so then you're getting used to a different technique. But if you use smokescreen all the time, it doesn't matter where the Billbots are. Doesn't matter if it's at the back, doesn't matter if it's in the line, doesn't matter if one's at the front or not. Doesn't matter where it is. And you got to think that if the Billbots are like staggered that way, and you've got to drop Warpath right or left, it gets targeted easier. The point of it is that you have to put smokescreen right at the bottom here, because you can't target this part of the launch pad unless it's a mortar or a missile launch or a beam or something like that, which you don't generally find at the front. Some people are quite clever and do that, but if you're dropping back far enough, it doesn't get targeted. And so by using smokescreen, you're guaranteed to use the same attack every time, and it doesn't make a difference where they put the Billbots. Whereas with Warpath, it does. And it become a problem if you're only used to using Warpath and having them points available, and you've got to use smokescreen, you've got a lack of points. So I would advise using smokescreen for that kind of attack and not Warpath. But I do get what you're sort of saying about Warpath being cheaper if you can use him and you're skillful enough to put him in the right place. Yeah, Blade 1999. I don't take a Prime into wars. I never do. Like I said, I've had reports of people crashing, and I've got a solid 300 record inside now. So I'm not chancing that by taking a Prime. I cannot pronounce your name, sorry, but Brotherhood are Armada Prime. Armada Prime. Yeah. Like I said, I've got a solid 300, and if you look at I won't show people's scores in my alliance. Don't want to thingy anyone, but so yeah, so same. So we've played Asylum, Armada Nemesis, Scourge, Armada Prime. That's it really. I think tracked wise, you can see there. It's the same technique on front loaded basis for every single alliance. Doesn't matter. See, Cuddy Fox has bought on my base. I use 5 different Billbots. One is cryo, one fire, one electric, one heal, one for shield. The problem with that is if I'm attacking your base and I use fire, I'm taking out 1 Billbot. If I use pipes and fire, I'm taking out 2. That's it. If I use pipes and Taz Kid, I'm using electric and I need FFFD gone, I'm taking out 2. I don't need to worry about the fire things. So sometimes when you're putting your Billbots on your bases, it's kind of like you kind of got to pick a poison. So I've got one fire one, but I've made a point of putting the fire one next to the shield jam, which makes it a bit harder. It's not hard to take out, a bit harder. But then I've got 2 electric and 2 FFDs, and that's it. I haven't gone with any of the anti-cryo. I haven't gone with anti-hack because you can't defend against everything. I just feel like not a lot of people use Comptron right now, and not a lot of people use hack really either. So not on in that sense, like using blades and things like that anyway. So not for that reason, for hacking anyway. So yeah, I don't see the point of really using it. Cuddy Fox has put one nerf I do not like is that I cannot use smokescreen on Mind Wipe wise, and yeah, you can do, but the problem he has 2 cores Mind Wipe, so it's that they've stopped it, but their attack core gains stealth, so you obviously can't target someone in stealth. So it depends on what core they have on, but obviously you don't know that on defense, so you might try and snipe it and not be able to kill it. You might try and do it, so it all depends. Cat Kickers put 2 healers, not my jam, but you made it look cool. Yeah, cool. Thanks. I probably don't need two healers, I'm honest with you. I'll probably try one when the effects get harder, but for now, it works that easy. It just keeps my bots alive. I don't need to drop one, so why drop one? Again, the phrase is, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Traxxas Sport, I reported today, I think Defender Titan's getting a buff because I have seen so much now that FM is a Defender slot. It's taking out Max Metro easily. Mine's level 24, my Titan. And my Titan wins most defensive with that setup. So it might be worth looking into that. Mine wins most. Darklands, have you thought about using skids with Rust Dust over Sunstreaker? There's really no need to, because Rust Dust does enough on their own. There's really no need. And skids don't have the same amount of range because he sits back a bit because there's a gunner more. So yeah. Cat Kicker, may I see your Perceptor build? I mean, you can do, but I'll show you something after this. Oops. Hang on a second, let me sort this out a minute. There we go. My Perceptor build is that right now. That's literally the only Perceptor I've got. So, in terms of crystals, these are the bots I've looked at and thought I do not want. So, Windblade, pretty trash. Perceptor, sadly. RC, trash. I'm not a fan of Rotorstorm and Sentius. Not a fan of Strafe as well either. I'm not a fan of Ryan Pack, Snapdragon, Jetfire, Sky Striker. So, there's that. That's why I haven't got anything on him. Yeah, I just don't rate him really right now. He needs a bit of a change in his utility. Yeah, Darklands says, but yeah, the crash has killed a war for me on my alt account. Yeah, I wouldn't use primes on war, honestly. Trax, how did you talk grind time into going back into Sai? I didn't actually. I just sort of said we were talking about it. I said would you go back into Sai? So I sort of said to him, and he's like, can't be bothered. I like not following the roosts enough to not go in there. And then one day, messaged me saying, "Listen, I'm coming back." I went, okay, cool. Basically, because I'm there. Because he loves me too much. Dallas has put Sunstreaker's gonna like skids. Yeah, but if you look at this, there's one big difference. RT is 4-star Sunstreaker, I think. The 5 stars on cooldown. They ain't buying coins just for showing you something. No offense. You put a gun of combat on him as well. Hang on, what's on Skids a minute? Let's have a look a minute. So Skids has got Nightstick. So let's put 2-star Nightstick on Sunstreaker a minute. So they've both got the same range. As in combat range. They've both got the same combat, so you get the idea. So drop them both here. So Skids, Sunstreaker. That's the big difference. Skids area, Sunstreaker's area. So Sunstreaker, I tend to use Skids. I tend to use Rust Dust for them big areas that are closer by. I use Sunstreaker for the targets that are a bit further away. But I don't use Sunstreaker all the time. But I'll be honest as well, Sunstreaker is kind of my backup in case I lose Rust Dust. There's been a few times, again down to pathing problems, that I've lost Rust Dust and I need a plan B. I always do this. Whenever I sort of have my team, I never rely on one bot doing a job well. Because if you rely on one bot doing a job well and that bot goes missing for some reason, you're kind of stuck. It's why I have 2 healers. It's why I have 2 warriors or 2 tanks at the front. It's why I have 2 fire bots rather than just 1. It's why I take out them fire build bots and just go for fire rather than going for 2. I just like to have a plan B all the time. I always have done that. And I always have a bot that I can rely on if I lose that bot. So that's kind of the way that I've worked it. Um, yeah, Strafe's awful. Grand time. You said earlier you were a complete, yeah, whatever. Pull those bots. No, because it's not worth it. I am a completionist. That's the word. I am a completionist, but not when something's useless. I'm not. It's not stupid. Drax but you really need to look into Jetfire Sky Striker. Not really. Um, um, Drax, well, wait, what's that? Did wasn't actually admit he's planning on what happens if he actually loses a bot now? I've always done that. I've always done that. Listen, in these effects, it's far too easy. But you can lose bots, and especially Rustus because she runs off because she's that scout. So she is a bit of a liability. So you just need that plan B. You know, I could easily put another warrior in there or something, but then you're struggling to take out defense and stuff. I've made that mistake before where I've tried taking some gunners out and adding more HP or taking a healer out, but no. Grindtime, just call me stupid? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. Next. Dark Answers put Windblade as uses in Z mode. I know, but I'm not gonna go and spend money. And I'm not gonna spend shards on Windblade to spend money leveling her up for Zen when I've got again little flex 230k Shanix where I could just buy Z anyway. I mean, like I could literally buy what's that 990 times 2 600 6 million 12 million Zen I think it is it 12 million? Yeah, I could literally buy 12 million, probably about 15 million Zen right now if I wanted to. So I just don't see the point. I've got plenty of other bots anyway. So yeah, to use. Dart says, but I still refuse to pull Cheetor. Yeah, I've got Cheetor, but I refuse to give ability 11. Oh, did I actually? Just because I'm just doing it. I mean, yeah, I'll show you actually while I'm here. Nothing better to do. So yeah, look. 11, 11, 11, 11, 11, 11, 11, 11, 11, 11, 11, 11, 11, 11, 11, 11, 11, 11, 10, because 11 is rubbish. Makes no sense. 11, 11, 11, 11, 11, 11, 11, 11, 11, 11, 11, 11, 11, 11, 11, 10, because no 11, 11, 11, 11, 10, because no 11, 11, 11, 11, 11, 11, 11, 11, 10, because no 11, you get the idea. I've even given it gold fire because I was doing some testing with it, but yeah, pretty crap. Then we get to Ultra Magnus 10. Not giving him 11 yet because it's just double the electric damage to the target, which is rubbish. Really awful 11. Then we've got, like I said, Cheetor 11. Literally not leveled him since the old cleanup crew days. Remember them guys? 11, 11, 11, 11. Who else is the next one? Skyburst because she's trash. Vector Prime's not got to it yet. That's one of my next ones on my list to get to 11. Same for Topspin. Although Topspin 11 is pretty rubbish. It's like an extra like 10% protection or something. Yeah, damage up to 10%, which is awful. From 50 to 60 for the spark it costs, it's not worth it. Who else? Scattershocks, I don't really like. Rate him, don't really like him. Ultimo because he's trash. Rodimus because he's trash. Burst 11's alright for Rodimus actually, but I just don't like him as a bot. What's the ability 11? So I can't. Or set 2 targets on fire. Nah. So, but not the best bot. Good ability 11. I got round to it yet. That's one of my next ones. Yeah, it's alright. Not bad. Not the best bot though. Jazz 9. So ability 11's okay, but not the best bot. Awful bot. I think he's trash. Just not got round to Reinhardt yet. It's quite low level still, so not got round to him yet. Metalhawk's alright. I'm getting round to him again as well. Hoist is good, 11. Not got round like that yet. I know I've got like 3 million, but I want to try and keep that inventory. I don't know why, but I'm just going to keep it. Afterbreaker, trash. I hate him. I don't like Sack, but hey. He'll get 11 eventually. He'll get 11 eventually. He'll get 11 eventually. And he'll get 11 eventually. So that's where we're sort of at, really. Grind time, well, you talk funny. Well, actually, you talk funny, so I was there. We were first. Not me, but we were here first. Dark answers, but one bot on Prime in Zone 15 user gets Prime around 350 to 500k per trip. I just refuse, honestly. Captain Flint has put turn it up to 11, buddy. I like the reference, but do you mean my mic, or do you mean like get him level to 11? Darkland Skyburst is Z mode AE bot. Again, I've got plenty of bots that can do Z mode, so Z energy, so I don't see the point. Raging Wolf, I have enough for a 5-star bot. Who do you recommend your top 5 Autobots? I actually did a video. I'm not sure it's available to everyone yet. It is available to members. Ranking every 5-star batch and sort of which one to pull from, depending on what you're trying to achieve, what you're trying to get. If that's not available, it will be available this week, I think. It is one of the videos that is coming soon to be posted, available for everyone, if not already. So go and check out my channel. There's plenty of videos on there and top Autobots, things like that I've done recently. And we'll be doing another ratings video after this balance patch, where we've got a better idea on where the bots are sort of going to be. So we'll be doing some more ratings videos. So just make sure you tune to the streams or watch the videos I'm going to post. And if you want to catch them first, become a member. But yeah, there'll be definitely some more ratings videos coming soon, and done plenty of ratings videos quite recently as well. So go and check them out. Darklands Blur's fun at SA11 with Triceratops. I don't like Triceratops. I always feel like it's melee. I'm not the biggest fan, to be honest. So I don't even think I got a 5-star Triceratops actually. Don't think I even bothered with it. Yeah, there's some combats that I've not bothered with. Do they have like a thing in missing section? Yeah. Yeah, so you see there, I've not even got 4-star Triceratops. That's how much I don't like him. 4-star style is pretty good on CL, but I haven't got them. But I've got Crystal to pull, but nah. So yeah, they're kind of all the 5-stars that I don't rate. That's probably about right, actually. Yeah, I don't really rate any of them. Not a fan of any of them. That's why I've not pulled any of my 5-star shards for combats. I would like 4-star Sylar and 4-star CL, but I've got most of my healers now that I use with decent combat, so I don't need 4-star CL, and Style would be alright, I suppose. I could pull some crystals and get him, but meh. Berserk's put, we need ability skips back in the passage month. Yeah, I agree. What have I got? Ability skips. I don't think I've got a lot, actually. What have I got? 3 research skips. So yeah, I've not got a lot either. I've been trying to save the research skips for like essential bots that I'm leveling. Say I want to try and get a bot from level 50 to 70, I'll use a troop research skip, because I've used an XP core. I want to get him through that and quick as possible, get him high level, because I want to use him in for defense, or use him in a war or something. When I see a proper war bot, I'll do that. If not, I'll just put him in the lab and keep him in there, because I'm not too bothered about, rushing them through. So it all depends on the bot, but I've had these for a while because I've not really had the need to. Blades bot freezing movie stream tomorrow. Good to know. Not good for me because I'll miss it because I'm in work, but good to know. Berserk's put Thrust is pretty good on a team with AoE like Skyhawk. No, I don't like Thrust at all. Not enough damage. Goes walking off. Again, a lot of my thing is about pathing, and I'm not being awful when I say this. I'm not. But at lower levels, pathing is a lot more forgiving. Bases are not really set up for pathing. They're a lot more technical. It might not look it, but they are a lot more technical the higher up you go. Um, and it becomes more important pathing wise. So with like bots like Thrust that don't follow the same pattern as most other bots, makes them a bit of a risk. That's why Rust is a bit of a risk. Just by walking off a bit, by being a bit quick. That's all it takes, is just something like that. And so Thrust is a massive risk when using the ability. So I don't see the point in taking a bot where you can't really use the ability, or you just sort of specialize in it a certain way, a certain time, or you do to go off and die. So that's why I don't like Thrust really. Grind time. How do you even use a research skip? Well, that's it all. Cuddy Fox has put the problem with Retgar is that his ability is super high and he's not the best healer. I love his ability if it's half the cost. The reason I like Retgar, I'm leveling Retgar, sorry, not because I like him. The reason I'm leveling him is that I have obviously teams, and I like to have a healer in all my teams. So these are my sort of event teams. So you got 4-star first aid there, no healer in there. You got Minerva in there. You got Wheeljack in there. You got Ratchet in there. 5-star first aid in there. 5-star Wheeljack in there. I got 5-star Wheeljack in too. I'm sure I saw a 5-star Wheeljack somewhere in here. Yeah. Oh no, yeah, sorry, because that is just I was just leveling these. Oh no, that's what we're leveling them. That's weird. Why Wheeljack in two? Don't know. I'll have to look into that. But yeah, I basically want a healer in all my teams, a 5-star healer. And don't I'm using a 4-star at the minute, one of them. So I want a 5-star healer to fill that gap. Cat Kickers put used my first ability skip last week on Dinobot 2 ability 11. Dinobot 2 is alright. Decent ability 11. It is good to be fair. But not the best Dinobot 2, not the best warrior out there. But like I said, go and check out my ratings videos. There's going to be more coming soon. I'm going to rate every single bot in the game soon again. So look out for them. And I'd save your spark until that. But yeah, I always try and look at it as well. Like, and you'll see some content creators. I'm not calling them out by any means, but I used to do this myself included, so I'm not calling anyone out. You'll do it from your own perspective and just think about war, because that's what top players do. But what I try and do is I try and talk about why a bot is good because of leveling almost. And I always think back, and I say this back to, and this, you get these sort of light bulb moments sometimes. I was talking to a YouTuber from a while back, the Arrow DJ Hart. If you know, you know. I liked his content. It was good. It was fun, and I remember doing a video with him. I can't remember. He was on my channel. I think he was on my channel. I think. I can't remember. I was on his. I can't remember which way he was. But we talked about what makes a good bot, and he was saying Rook's awful, and I was like, how can you say Rook is awful? How? He's like, well, how do you level him? I was like, he's like, healers are useless. I was like, what do you mean healers are useless? Like, heal your bot. He's like, how do you level them? And so his sort of mindset always was a good bot is a bot you can power level and use solo to do things. If you can't do that, because he didn't play wars. If you can't do that, they're useless. And I kind of get his point that if you're trying to level with Rook and try and solo, it's awful. If you're trying to solo with a healer, it's awful. So that was so. For example, Windblade for him would be like S tier. That's the way he sort of ranked it, and I was like, I kind of get that. Not everyone plays the game the same way. I kind of get that, and so that sort of changed my mindset. So when I rank these bots, sometimes I try and think of not just walls but also leveling and how useful they are. But obviously, being a decent player in the game, I'm going to rank it to walk. That's what the top players are all judged by. But I also like to put bots a bit higher if they are good at leveling as well. But I also try and explain that in the videos and the stream and stuff. So yeah. Um, Raging Wolves put Iron Ability Skip, and I'm going to use it on my 5-star Prowl and max him out. What I would say is, guys, about resources is some bots at medium to lower levels are decent, and then once you get to higher levels, are not. But if you use that bot a lot, go and invest in it. I can't see anyone investing in a bot and then in a month's time going, all right, now I'm completely maxed out and I've gone from being in Cybertron or Platinum League Wars to going in Prime League Wars overnight. That's not going to happen. You're going to phase up eventually if that's what you want to do. You're going to make it step by step. I've seen a few players do it very quickly, but very few and far between. It costs a lot of money. So I wouldn't recommend it. But if that's your goal, then, and you're that bot for now is doing well for you, then it will probably do well for the next 2 years. And so that ability 11 investment is great. It all depends as well how many ability 11s you can afford. If you can't afford a lot, they'd be very choosy and pick. But ultimately, don't let people sometimes say to you, oh, don't do that. There's some ability 11s granted that are trash. You have to be careful. So if someone says don't do it, ask them why you're saying that. And they'll probably say, oh, there's better ones out there. But then most players will go, but I don't have them bots that you're suggesting. I've not got all the bots in the world. I've got maybe 3 5-stars. I want to invest in my 5-stars. So I'm going to invest in Prowl because one of the few I've got. And I kind of get that. You know what? If you've only got 5-star Prowl and you use him a lot and does a lot of damage and want to pump some more damage out of him to go to the next level, then, why not? But if you've got a lot of bots as a choice, I probably wouldn't pick Prowl. There's better bots out there. But again, I don't think you're going to put ability 11 on Prowl and be disappointed. So, yeah. Put it this way, I gave ability 11 to Prowl years ago. Now, probably about 3 or 4 years ago. And I don't regret it. I don't really use him anymore. I can't remember the last time I used him. But I don't regret it because it was decent at the time. At that time, it was really good. Um, Berserk's put troop research is not so bad once we have loads of bots. New players need them bad though. I agree with that, but I don't think research skips is the solution. I think just removing research from 1 to 50 is a solution. For me, it should be 50, 60, 70. That's it. Done. No research before that. And I've said that for years. Never happened. Um, Cat Kicker Sport, don't forget how fun it is to use that bot. Well, I don't know. But some bots are fun, but it's all about utility with me though. You know, if you're talking about fun bots, and I think Punch Up is so high. I love Punch, but at the end of the day, it depends what you play the game for, innit? Really, if you play the game just to mess about, do you know what I mean? Then fair enough. But if you play the game to be decent at it, competitive in any way, even in events, then you're gonna look at the best bots rather than just bots that are fun at you. It depends what you play the game for. It really does. I was shocked when Dale said to me that there's players out there that play the game and all they do is collect bots. They don't do events, they don't do walls, they don't do raids, they don't do anything. They don't even level their bots. He said there's people out there with like 30, 45 stars. I've done like 20 battles. I know, mind-boggling. And I said to him, I was like, that can't be the case. It cannot be the case. And then I asked Callum, like, we do a favor, will you tell me the truth? Is this the case? He's like, yeah. There's people that just collect bots. So just collect bots, they don't level them at all. They're all like level 1 and level 5 or whatever it is. Really low level because they haven't used them hardly. And I was like, that is just mind-boggling to me. But if that's how they want to play the game, who am I to tell them that's not how you play the game? Um, Someone obviously put in I presume Russian in the chat, and I don't speak. Oh, is it Russian? I think. Apologies, I don't speak Russian. There's no translation on this chat. But if someone's translate it for me, I will gladly answer it the best I can. Apologies. Um, Kroto as well, good to see you. Go and check out Kroto's channel as well. Does a lot of war videos. Um, Talent support. I have all the binders max. I've got 40 million spark and 8 binder skips. That's probably the only thing I'm short on actually. And I've got 1.5 mil. I think are all of them max now? I've got one more too. Oh yeah, I forgot that. Oh my days. Monument until occasion. There you go. Done. All combiners maxed. There we go. Um I wish they did a cost reduction on the fourth slot. They have said they're going to do something. They've talked about something, and I hope it works. They've got a lot of plans. They have, but it's just coming too slow. And then they put everything out all at once and don't fan it out. It's ridiculous, really. London's calling. Thanks for joining as well. Good to see you, buddy. Welcome back. It's what everyone's talking about. Ability skips, not research skips. Well, it doesn't matter. I can talk about both. Track support. How can you collect bots if you don't play endurance and low bots? That makes no sense if you think about it. They just do. I know, but they just do. But you're presuming that they spend to get them bots. They don't have to. Raging Wolf. I have 5-star Nightstick on Prowl. Would you recommend keeping it or switching it out for 5-star Cosmic Rust Blaster? Again, the important thing is that put Nightstick on the bot you use the most because Nightstick is the best combat in the game. Pretty much. So put it on the bot you use the most. If that is the bot you use the most, then yeah. But me personally, just to give you an idea, some people may disagree with this. But don't forget, I've got hang on. No. Do So remember, I've got 28,000 shards and oh no, it's Primal Star Saver on project. But let's have a, where's Cosmic Rust Blaster? Who's it on? Just to prove a point. Is it on weapons? Weapons. Try again. It's on Brainstorm, who I don't really use, and you can see that the 4-star version is on 4-star Sandstorm, and I don't use the 3-star. Where you can see the Forge Solus Prime, level 10, level 10, level 8. Really good. So I'm not a big fan personally. That one's welcome to the club was about maxed out combiners. Thanks. I'm sure you missed it. I'll hit player rank 100 most likely starting next week. Wow, that is crazy. Well done. It's a big achievement. It's mad. JB Captor, good to see you, buddy. So I just nearly missed you then. Apologies. Thanks for joining, bud. Dartlands, even not spending, how are you getting 5-star shards and things like that? No resources to get bots, really. Of course you get 5-star in events. I suppose, yeah, but how do you level in events? I don't know. Good point, I suppose, I don't know. Yeah, how do you get 5-star shards if you're not playing events? So your bots must level. I don't know, good point. It's a hole in the theory, isn't it? Maybe it's mean they don't level them, they're not like power level more, getting high level or something, maybe it's like low level, I don't know. I don't know, mate. I don't know. I mean, I suppose you could use a combiner and just keep doing attacks, couldn't you? You don't need coins for that, so I suppose. But you make a very good point about research. I think they won't go for it. No, they haven't, because I've said it for years, and they haven't gone for it. And I think even Dale thinks it's a good idea, but they haven't gone for it. Cody Fox has put Brainstorm's one of my best bots to take massive damage from a base with a combo with another bot. He is a lot better since he had his buff. I'll give you that much. You don't see him a lot, but he is very good. Even good on front-loaded bases. What you could do is use him on a front-loaded base and let your bot's natural DPS take out the base then. So drop Brainstorm, let them just shoot at a defense, clear the area. And the good thing about Brainstorm is you can daisy chain it. So you can do 1, 2, 3. You kill that and it goes bang, bang, bang and kills quite a bit, so it is quite good. It is. Brainstorm's a lot better since he's buff, and I think sometimes, again, I said it before, but we always focus on the nerfs, and I kind of get it, but we forget some of the really good content that's buffed and become a lot more relevant. You know, the likes of Sunstreaker and the likes of Rustus and all these sort of bots that were, you know, crap, really awful, and now are considered meta. So, yeah, cool. Right, I think we're gonna leave it there, guys. Really appreciate everyone joining in. Thank you. Apologies for a couple of weeks, but I am told, I'm almost assured, there's a lot of content coming, and it will be in playtest next week. So hopefully, we'll have loads to go through next week. It'll be action packed, and then when we've got through all that content, we can get back to those rating videos and get some decent rating videos out, and you'll see a bit more consistent content, I think, then when the guys sort of sort themselves out behind the scenes. So fingers crossed. But we will see you next week. Thanks for joining, guys. Don't forget to hit a like. Don't forget to subscribe, most important thing. And if you want to catch all my content as and when it comes out, then consider becoming a member. Thanks for joining, guys, and peace out.